Hey guys, doing another video on Ultra 150 Kawasaki Jetski. Jet pump needs rebuilding, so I've got a lot of work done on it already, but I'm still waiting on parts. But here, let's flip the camera. This is what I'm rebuilding. So let's get this video started. Hey guys, back at her here. With this COVID-19, this massive slowdown in work, there's not a lot of work right now, so I'm catching up on all my hobby things. And one hobby I got here is this Ultra 150, this jet ski. Last year I buggered it. I'll just show you guys the bearing kit here, or I blew the bearings, and I'll show you here. Let's turn it around. So my first attempt was to try to pull this impeller off, and the way I did it was wrong, and it busted the whole casing here, which really sucked because this piece is about 350, 400 used. Long story short, I got a new one off of eBay, of course. It was like 350, 400 maybe, around there, after conversion, right? Now it feels okay, but it doesn't feel okay. It's a little bit stiff. It doesn't want to spin super nice, so it's hard to say. First things first, I'll pop this off the right way without wrecking it, so learn from my mistakes. I'll do a video and show you guys how to take this apart properly, and it's really easy once you know, but unfortunately sometimes you have to break stuff to figure it out. So expensive mistake, but that's how it goes, and I'm learning from it. And so the idea is I'm going to pull this impeller off, check the bearings on the shaft, which, where is the other shaft? Here's the other shaft. So this was the other shaft. It goes in there. Pretend there's some bearings in there, and they all blew out. So now it's going to be press this off, show you guys how to do it. I'll do a part series. I don't know if it'll take 2 or 3 videos or if it'll take 5 videos. So just look for part 1, part 2, part 3, and so on until it's done. If you have one of these Kawasaki jet skis, this might be of interest, and you're looking to change the bearings, then yeah, watch my video. Plain and simple. Okay guys, cheers. Okay, so first things first, we've got to take the nose cone off. It's real easy. Beer makes it way easier. And take my impact. I already broke loose this one. I love this impact. It's so sweet. And then one on the bottom is right there. Whatever. Okay, so this, I'm gonna go get a rubber hammer and basically tap, 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 tap. Keep tapping until this comes off. Can't hold the camera and do it at 2 things at once, so you'll just see it with this piece off. So that's what we're gonna do next. So different types of hammers for different jobs. Let's get at her. So it's gonna be done. Okay, gonna have to record this later. Hey guys, I hammered on this for a bit, but I realized don't really need to, it's not coming off very easily, so it must be sitting in a lake. It sat in a lake for 20 years, so it's really on there good. So what I'm gonna do is push the impeller off instead, because as long as you take these 3 bolts out, then we should be safe. So let's go over to that guy. So it's in the press. Make sure that it's centered to the bottom. You definitely don't want to have it pressing against these side pieces here, because it could chip off that cone, or even worse, wreck something else. So what I'm doing is, of course, put your safety glasses on, and I'm gonna put, this is just a extension, put that in there. Got my safety glasses on. This is how I broke the last one, so if I break this one, I'm gonna be not too excited, and it might be the end of the video. I gotta get this center. That's a good sign. Let's double check it. Okay, so in theory, she's breaking loose. I looked inside here. Wonder if I could, and I can see it's clearly moving down, even though, hold on, let's see if we can get some lighting. Nice, really liking this camera. There we go. So see how it's breaking loose and it's actually pressing down? So that's good. And on the other side of that spectrum is, let's just lift this up. So here you can see it's already broke loose there. So you see that gap? That was not there 2 seconds ago. So I'm gonna, again, let's center it. This is the actual shaft that we're pushing. So this shaft is, let's see. So this shaft here is, what we're doing is we're pushing this shaft off the bearings, basically. And how I did it before was, I can't remember how I did it, but it broke. So let's give it a bit of lube to help it along. And we'll give her another go here. Hey guys, so after a bit of struggling and fighting with it, finally got it to work. I put this in here, okay? Pressed it, not very much, just it did a little pop. Once it did the pop, I let off. You do too much, you're gonna bust stuff. Just do a little bit just to loosen it up. And honestly, I would do this maybe as a last resort. Okay, should get back to here. This nose cone popped out about 1/8 of an inch to 1/2 centimeter, 1/8 of an inch. It popped out, and then I was able to get a screwdriver, and I was able to wedge it each side, kept wedging it until I got this cone popped right out, basically. Ooh, like so. Once I had the cone off, I then proceeded on doing what? I came over here and I realized this was already loose. The shaft felt loose, so that was good. And I basically started spinning this guy. Sometimes these are seized on, like real bad, I've heard, from what I've researched and read and forums and all kinds of stuff. So that wasn't seized on, it came off quite nicely. I don't know if that's because I put it in the press and it loosened it a bit. I can't 100% say why that came off so nicely, but I'm not going to complain. So this is the piece that I busted before, was this piece. And I'm not sure how I messed it, but I did. We won't go in there. So now we got the bearings. We had to take the C-clip out. There's a seal on one side, there's a bearing, and then there's another seal on the outside, and then a bearing. I think that's how this is done. But it's my first time doing one, so it's a learning game. But once you have the impeller off, then you can basically give it a little love tap, and right away you can see, you know, that shaft's pretty dirty. And gonna do a bit of cleaning now. Ordered the bearings. Seals were 40 bucks, bearings were 25 each, so it's well worth it. If I feel the bearings are pretty darn rough, and it's pretty rusty, and when you run your finger along the bearing, you can feel it. It's not moving smooth like a bearing should move, so you know it's time to change these. So that's the steps that we're basically gonna do now, is fight with getting these bearings out. So wish me luck. That's the next process. Don't do that. Do this. All right, I'll continue this video when I got the bearings out, but we'll start with this clip here. Take that clip out. Once that's out, I'm gonna start pulling stuff apart. Hopefully I can push it through this way, is my plan. See how it goes. All right, so to get these bearings out, my plan is to take an angle cutter, cut into this broken one all the way down to find out where the bearings sit. I believe the bearings sit here, but I'm gonna cut this down, kind of peel it open, take a look before I just start pressing stuff, and of course potentially breaking things. So let's I won't show my grinding skills here, but you'll see it when it's done. Okay guys, now that we've dissected this thing like a frog, we can kind of see how it's set up. So cut out a little chunk here, or how it's engineered or designed. And so there's a sleeve in the middle. Got it. So there's so here you can see this right here is actually a sleeve that the bearing sits on. Then farther in, the bearing sits, here's the other bearing, which is all just destroyed, but the bearing sits on the other. So there's a sleeve in the middle and a bearing's on one side, and then there's a bearing on the other side. So got to push these bearings out one at a time. One has to come out this way, the other bearing has to push down through there the other way, basically. So that's how that is. Yeah, there's the seal for the bearing. That's basically it. Now it's time to do it without breaking anything. Yep. Unfortunately, I can't really hold a camera. I don't have a co-pilot here to hold the camera with me, but when I'm done, I'll show you guys what I did. All right. Okay, guys, now that we've dissected this thing like a frog, we can kind of see how it's set up. So cut out a little chunk here, or how it's engineered or designed. And so there's a sleeve in the middle. Get it? So there's from. So here you can see. This right here is actually a sleeve that sits, the bearing sits on. Then farther in, the bearing sits, here's the other bearing, which is all just destroyed. But the bearing sits on the other. So there's a sleeve in the middle and a bearing's on one side, and then there's a bearing on the other side. So got to push these bearings out one at a time. One has to come out this way. The other bearing has to push down through there the other way, basically. So that's how that is. Yeah, there's the seal for the bearing. That's basically it. Now it's time to do it without breaking anything. Yep. Unfortunately, I can't really hold a camera. I don't have a co-pilot here to hold the camera with me, but when I'm done, I'll show you guys what I did. All right. Oh yeah, that bearing is out and it's rough. You can tell when a bearing's shot is if you just turn it, that centerpiece, and you feel the grinding. Obviously, you guys can't feel it, but you can definitely feel that that bearing is rough. Now all I have to do is figure out how this, I believe, is going to be pushed out. Now I'm going to have to push it from in here, push it that way, because that sleeve is what, let's see if I can zoom in on there, that sleeve. I don't think you can get past that sleeve. I'm going to clean this all up to see what's actually there. Okay, I pressed it from the other side and this thing popped right out. So this is the first piece. Then, so I don't know if this is a spacer or if it's a bush. I don't know. I'll have to look at the parts catalog again. But this came out first. Then there seems to be another seal that I have to push out. This thing, it's a bit mangled, but whatever. I'm going to push that out next. Okay, so we're pressing the last piece out. Safety glasses first. It should just fall out. It fell out. And you should be able to look at all the pieces out. So there we go. Take a quick look in here, guys. I have to clean this all out, but this gives you an idea. So it was, let's go get all the pieces. Missing all, okay, cut. Yeah, you can start. Okay, yeah, so reality, this bearing was in the bottom, right? There's a timer. Yeah, so anyways, so this bearing's at the very bottom. This is the main bearing. This piece is like this. So it sits up on top. So I pressed, using the press, I pressed this down to push this bearing out the bottom, and then it has to go through that hole. It's a pretty tight hole, but it'll go through. And then this piece and this piece fall out together. So that's that part. This bearing and this is that part. That's what you're pushing that way. On the flip side of that coin, this is how this top stuff, and you got to push that the other way. So you need a press, obviously, and you'd be pushing this So then you pop out. Obviously you start with your C-clip. If you don't take that off, you're gonna bust the whole piece, which I did that somehow. I don't know how the heck I did that. Let's not go backwards and talk about that stuff. This is the setup. So the C-clip comes off, you push it, this piece will come off. Again, I don't have the proper names right now in front of me. It's just getting late and I'm not thinking very much here. And then this is a seal, some kind of bushing seal, and then you push that out. So it's like that, and that. So I ordered a new bearing. I ordered this seal, this, and I think I'll order even this C-clip because this one's twisted a bit. But that's it, guys. Like that's rebuilding your jet pump right there in a nutshell. You can look inside here. It's super dirty. Gonna take some cleaning product, spray it all in there, and maybe take it down to the car wash and clean it all up. Make sure it's all nice and good. Yeah, that is it, guys. For the most part, this is how to take it apart. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a video just to put it all back together. You get the gist of it. You can take it from there, right? And hopefully it helps you if you've come to this point where you're like, how the heck do you get these bearings out of here? That's how you have to do it. Push this guy down, pop the bottom bearing out, flip it over, and push these two guys out the bottom. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. If you found this handy or interesting or whatever, hit that subscribe button. It helps out. It's a hobby, of course. I don't do this for a living. I do this just for pure entertainment. So someday if I want to go look back and see what did I do to actually fix this, I can look back myself and say, oh, that's what I did, because forget things so quickly nowadays. So this is my memories here. So thanks for watching, guys. See you later. Okay, just a quick update. Picked up bearing, KML bearing. There's the part number 6322. And that is the bearing itself. And now we're going to press it into the bottom of this thing. But before I do that, we're going to clean this all up and get it ready for that. So that's the progress on it, and yeah, I'll show you what comes after that.